what y'all saw earlier. Ignore the part where I damn near died because I didn't have a cup of water. We finna watch this video.
I did immediately regret it in a sense where I called my mom and I apologized to her.
Is that the beginning?
I did immediately regret it in a sense where I called my mom and I apologized to her and I said,
They ain't even gonna ask, like, they ain't even gonna tell us what the question asked was. They just gonna pop it off like that. I called my mom.
I'm so sorry, I think I killed your husband. But
Gang, what? Nah. My bad. I think I killed your husband. My bad, dog. I think your husband in his flip is crazy.
then there was also the sense of like, oh my gosh, I don't have to keep looking over my shoulders anymore. I don't have to live in this fear that he's gonna actually come after me because it already happened.
I feel like the bald headed dude, bro. I'm gonna just say it right now. I feel like he's part of that special clan of people. I feel like it was on some, like that.
I would kill them again.
There's gonna be a lot of people stepping to agree.
3, 2, 1.
There's gonna be a lot of people stepping to agree. I can feel it. See, 3 out of 5.
Thomas Ogden was a beautiful person, and he was my friend, and what happened was an accident, and I would...
okay, that makes sense.
I would give anything to have him back. My name's Forrest, and I accidentally shot and killed my best friend when I was 23 years old.
Yo, you know what's crazy about that? And just to clarify, this is not snitching because the nigga already went to trial for it and they already like dropped all the charges and shit. But I had a cousin that deadass accidentally shot someone. So that, like, I get it. That makes sense. Like, basically, long story short, niggas was playing with a gun. Gun went off, shot somebody by accident. So, this answer of him saying strongly disagree, okay, that makes sense. And I didn't think of that, but that's probably the only case where niggas will be like, yeah, my bad, dog.
I felt
Either that or if it was like on some young dumb shit.
like a shattered person most of my life, and there are still shards missing, but I just spent the last 5 years writing a very painful memoir. It gave me an opportunity to visit a lot of past trauma. I feel in a strong space to be a support for other survivors and create positivity in the world.
All my killing has been in the time of war, so I agree with what.
Oh yeah. He yo, it was good. It was good, Jalen. But yeah, if you kill people in war, you're definitely not gonna disagree.
What I've done. Would I do it again? I would, because if I didn't kill that individual, they would have killed me or somebody else. I was a sniper, so I'm looking after a platoon of 20, 30 guys, sometimes as small as 6 guys.
Okay, that makes
sense. But I
sense.
don't strongly agree with it because of the after effects, like what it did to me mentally. I was the first person I killed, I was 18, and I didn't stop until I was almost 25. So I don't regret any of it. I don't have any bad feelings towards those individuals that I did kill. They were just protecting their homeland just as much as I would too. So I would do it again to save my life or somebody else's life.
I work in healthcare. What
That's
I do
fair.
is I manage life support. So I'm the guy that pulls the plug on just about everybody. So I come from a very different perspective.
I don't know. That feels like a technicality, no? That feels like to me, if you're the person that pulls the plug, I don't feel like you're really like killing them. Like they're still oh my god, here you go. It's your but nah. If you pulling a plug, you're not really killing people. I don't count that as killing people. I don't know. That's just me though.
I have to do that for babies all the way to like people at the end of their lives. I've been doing this for like over.
My boy, buddy, there's no more water in the bowl, my boy. Looking at me crazy. There's nothing in the bowl.
a dozen years now. So I'm like, okay, I've come to terms with what the job is. So, yeah.
The crime and how it happened, it was not, I didn't go out to kill this person. And now understanding the impact that the crime had, not only on me, but the family of that person. That was a human being that I killed over some drugs, right? And his children, his family is being living still.
There's no way. This nigga has got to be an ex-crackhead or some shit. Cause, you know what? Let's hear the story. I'm not going to judge him. Let's hear the story. Yo, pal, there's no water in there. Back it up. Back up, gang. Back up. Matter of fact, go over there. Actually, I got my clothes on the bed. Don't go over there. Stay right there. Tight ass bed.
Still in the absence of this person. It was December the 24th, Christmas Eve night.
That shit is
Remember
not
me and a
tight.
couple of my friends were hanging out. This particular car came up, and the passenger in the car said, hey, I want to buy some drugs from you. So I told one of my friends, I'm like, he's known to be this person that will come through the community and ask for $100 worth of drugs, but he never has the money. And the guy did exactly what I said. He knocked the drugs out of my friend's hand, grabbed his arm, and started speeding off. And my reaction
What?
at that time was I pulled out the gun and I started shooting into the car to get him to release my friend. And days later, we heard that the bullet that I shot into the car actually killed him. To that day, I will never forget December the 24th when that.
Okay, now let me put it like this. Hold on, let me fix my microphone because the cord is on the wrong side. Right now. While yes, the murder that he did was over drugs. Yes, it was over drugs, which is not really a good thing. I mean, obviously niggas shouldn't be selling drugs, but that's really self-defense if you think about it. Cause like think about it, you got a gun on you and somebody grabs your man's hand, like your broski reaches into a car, no matter what the reason is, and then the dude just drive off. Like, bro, I'm gonna assume you trying to kill my man's. Like, yeah, I'd have shot that nigga too. I wouldn't
happened
regret
the day
it.
before Christmas.
I get it that his goal wasn't to kill a dude, it was just to scare the dude with some bullets. But still, it's like, if they put me on that trial, that nigga's not guilty.
I would 100% do what I had to do over again because the guy was a serial perpetrator. He was after so many women.
For those of y'all who doesn't know what that means he's oh wait, actually I forgot I can't say that word on YouTube. Yeah, just take her word for it.
The guy was a serial perpetrator. He was after so many women. If he killed me, he would have went after my mom, all my family, my nieces, my nephews, every one of us.
I thought she meant I thought she meant something different like SA, but nah, she meant he was out here running King Vaughn's.
Until he literally got what he wanted. I'm Tara Newell. I killed my attacker, Dirty John Meehan, in self-defense. I think
The nigga's name was what now?
Tara Newell. I killed my attacker, Dirty John Meehan, and
Just know he like, yeah, okay. Yeah. No. At first that's what I thought she was saying, but nah, she meant he was like a musician, but he wasn't like R. Kelly, he was like King Vaughn.
self-defense. I think it was really interesting how there was one person here who had experienced prison reform, because to me, my attacker would have been in there if I hadn't killed him in self-defense. And it's really interesting to hear about how there are
What? No, okay. I'm gonna hear her out, but it sounds like she's drawing parallels from nothing. But let's run it back.
if I hadn't killed him in self-defense. And it's really interesting to hear about how there are people in there who are able to rehabilitate.
Nah, Dirty John is
immediately
crazy.
regretted it.
Probably.
3,
Probably everybody.
2, 1.
The only people I would say that probably haven't regretted it is him and dude that said he was doing it for self-protection. Cause like at the end of the day, he was in the military, so he was like he knew going in and coming out, like going in, coming out, and during that he was gonna catch a lot of bodies. And then him is literally his job. So like these people were suffering, so I don't really think there's no regret. Everybody else, I think they're gonna step.
Go.
What? I'm surprised he stepped over here. I don't think he immediately regretted it because like he was defending his friend. But like, yeah.
Why do I strongly disagree?
Yeah.
Like I said, I was a young kid. I was 18. The first guy I killed was with a 50 cal like machine gun. I was expecting it to be like the movies where you have this like feeling of when you kill someone, and it wasn't there. I didn't really feel anything. It wasn't until like that night I had this weird dream. The guy who I shot became a ceiling fan in my room. His arms and legs were the blades. His head was the center of the fan. And I watched him spin faster and faster until he tore apart and covered me in what he used to be, what was left of him.
I'm not gonna lie. I think I need secondhand therapy after hearing that one, boy. But the interesting thing about that is there's just I think I heard it from Seymour. Yeah, Seymour. So there's this virtual reality YouTuber named Seymour. Let me see if I can show you his page real quick. Symor. Bro, watching Warzone? No, that nigga lived out Warzone. Okay, so this channel right here, this dude named Seymour, what he did is he'll go in VR and talk to people about their various different life experiences, right? Which actually I need to put some of these in the list to react to some of these in the beginning of streams. But he'll go up to people and talk to them about their experiences. And the video in particular that matters is he talked to somebody about their military experience. And one thing dude said is like a common tactic that they do is that everything that you're doing, like educational wise, and when you're signing up for the military, is they constantly tell you, hey, you're going to be killing people. Hey, you're in the military now. Part of your job is to take people's lives. Hey, you're in the military. You're going to be killing people. And they tell you over and over and over and over until you get it. So like that's like a subtle mental tactic that like I learned about that they do, and they do it for the specific cause of like desensitizing you to the idea that you're going to take people's lives, so that when you do it you don't feel anything on the inside, like you don't feel emotions like, oh man, I just killed somebody. You just go, okay, I killed somebody, so what? And then like you keep just going and going and going. Yeah, bro, he's military. Like I've never in my life seen somebody who was military who wasn't like well exercised, who wasn't like fit. You'll never see a fat person in the military. They literally make you go through like certain fitness tests and stuff like that. Like there's a certain like there's a certain specific exercise regimen they put you on.
But no, I didn't feel anything. There was nothing like to feel. I knew that was the beginning of something that I was probably going to have to do for a while.
Which he did.
No attachment at the time.
I can agree with you on that. I mean, identify with that, because my first couple years inside of prison, I detached from it completely. When people would mention his name, I would like, don't see him as a human being. And that was very insensitive when I look back at it now, right? But I look and say that was a way of me coping with the situation.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. And another thing is because like jail individuals, like people who are like institutionalized, like obviously not talk about him because it looks like he, from the way that he's talking and speaking about these events, if he's being genuine, which I'm assuming that he is, he has been like somewhat deinstitutionalized. But like people who are institutionalized, like if you catch a body, like they love you, like you're God to them. And especially if you did it on purpose with the meaning to kill that person, oh my goodness, you're definitely God to them.
At that time.
I did immediately regret it in a sense, where I called my mom and I apologized to her and I said, I'm so sorry, I think I killed your husband. So there was that, but then
I was chewing on ice, but I just linked 2 and 2 together. So the dude that she killed was her mom's. So she killed. Did she kill her dad or her stepdad? That's not my next question. Because imagine you gotta boom your own pops because he was a sexual predator and he tried to sexual predator you. Nah, that's type crazy. I think she needs the most therapy for this shit out of everybody. Because like to boom somebody, like you would need therapy, but like I think her level of therapy would be way higher. Cause like the other dude, like he's a military dude. So he expected it. He was told. Him, I think he would need therapy, but at the end of the day, like you're helping stop some people suffering. Cause there's like some people who like medically will never be able to come back to life, and like leaving them alive is just suffering. Right? So like that, depending on how strong you are mentally, you may or may not need a lot of therapy for that, right? And even a dude that was trying to protect his friend, he was trying to protect his friend. But the dude who killed his best friend, actually that one you might need like an equal amount of therapy because you did boom your best friend, but still.
there was also the sense of like, oh my gosh, I don't have to keep looking over my shoulders anymore. I don't have to live in this fear that he's going to actually come after me, because it already happened.
sometimes family members don't agree with the decision, and that decision is sometimes taken away from them. Being called every name in the book as I'm walking in there, but if they just don't agree, and then I'm like, I just have to go do this now, you know? But it doesn't feel good, or like I'm not necessarily agreeing with it. So I'm like,
That is a fact, because I've seen that before. Like, somebody had to get the plug pulled on them. And, like, niggas was on a doctor. Like, niggas actually tried to fight the doctor. Like, literally tried to, like, fight the doctor. And it's, type crazy, because it's, like, after a certain point, like, bro, leaving somebody on life support is dead-ass torture. Because, like, think about the idea of 24 hours a day, whether you can or can't talk, 24 hours a day, you have to sit back in a chair and do this. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Now, like, if you go to school or work or whatever the fuck else you do on your day to day, that sounds like it's fun. That sounds like it's cool. But then you actually have to sit down and, like, nigga, if you ever had to lay down in a hospital bed for a week straight and do nothing, you know what I mean. That shit is, especially like me, it's extra bad because I have ADHD. But even for the average person, it's like, dog, that shit, that's the fucking worst.
I disagree. Yeah.
The level of heartbreak that I felt immediately after that gunshot was indescribable. And I don't know if any of you have saw Red before, but I actually saw Red. And it was the most horrific thing I've ever seen.
Hospital state. Well, yeah, that's because, like, I don't know, like, the medical way to describe it, but basically because of all the diseases in the air and whatnot, like, it has a certain smell to it that people notice. So, I mean, it's not just a you thing, because, like, me, for example, I have a terrible sense of smell. Like, majority of the time, like, for example, somebody could be standing right next to me and they could fart. Like, let's say it's a quiet, one of those silent but deadly farts. Let's say the average person would notice the stench in like 2 minutes. I wouldn't notice it until like 5 minutes later. Everybody else go, oh my God, you farted. Like, I'm gonna move away so I don't smell it, but I didn't actually smell it yet. Like, my sense of smell, like, I don't have zero sense of smell. I just have a really, really bad sense of smell, bro. Like, it's terrible. But like at hospitals, I definitely have smelled that hospital smell you talking about. Cause like I said, it's all types of diseases and stuff in the air. And all those like diseases and germs and all that other sciencey shit produces certain different smells. And then think about it. All these sick people, when somebody's sick, they produce a certain smell, like a sick person smell. Now you're in a building with 5 floors full of sick people in one place. Come on now. That's like when you go to a locker room, like a boys' locker room, for example, let's say, and it's just a bunch of sweaty dudes in there. What is it gonna smell like? Funky BO.
Experienced, witnessed, felt in my life. I got charged with first-degree murder that night, and I was looking at doing 35 to life here in California. I couldn't even process that. There was just so much a combination of horror and grief immediately.
I am desensitized to death.
I can already tell you right now, the other black dude, he may step to agree, but the military dude, definitely. Everybody else, I think they're gonna step to the other side. Let's see. The other black dude, like the dude with the drug situation, he might step to somewhat agree, but him, military man with the locks, with the dreadlocks, yeah, he's stepping all the way over here. Definitely. I'm pressing the wrong buttons and shit.
3, 2, 1.
Oh, the hospital dude? Nah, because he said sometimes like it feels painful for him still. So I don't think he's gonna step on agree at all either. He's going to the other side.
Go.
Maybe it's something I'm not thinking about, but hold on, let's see. Because only dude I got right so far was him. But let's see.
Somewhat agree. Why is that?
Yeah. Why is that?
I do a lot of volunteer work, and the amount of people who are dying from drug overdoses and suicides right now in the arena of trauma, it's becoming difficult for me to feel anything
notice, yeah.
anymore with the amount of people that we're losing that we don't have to.
For me, it was almost like playing God, you know? I determined the time, place, when I'm gonna take that person off this planet. And it put things into perspective for me too, that I could be gone at any certain time. Like when you have to pull it, you know, you don't know when that card is gonna be pulled. So I've learned to value it more and know that it's very fragile, very frail. And to not feel anything towards killing someone would probably be more devastating to me than actually taking a life, is not feeling.
Hold on, I need to clarify something.
Yeah.
I just want to be very
Wait, hold up. What he said is basically he's desensitized. And I might be bugging, but essentially what he said from my interpretation is that looking back on it, it's like, damn, what did I do? But in the moment, it's like he was like basically, whatever. That's desensitization, my brother. I don't think he understood the question properly. I think either that or he interpreted it differently.
clear that being desensitized in no way means that I don't value life.
Oh, yeah.
It's just difficult.
Okay, good thing he said it, because like the value and desensitization are two different things, brother. Two different things.
To
Manage the
feel the mourning over and
more
over again.
over and over again.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
like I agree with you. Like there will be certain stories that I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that happened. But if someone just tells me like, oh, that person died of a heart attack, I'm just like, oh, okay.
Yeah, nah. See, there's a difference. There's a difference between somebody passing away of natural means and somebody getting like purposefully murdered, like murdered on purpose. Big difference. Like for example, if somebody had, let's say, cancer for the last 6 years, well, you ain't gonna have cancer for no fucking 6 years. But let's say somebody was extremely sick for like the last year to 6 months and they pass away. It's gonna be like, well, you know, like at some point, if unless you're stuck in denial, at some point you gotta realize like, yeah, I'm not saying it is, I'm not saying it isn't, but there's a good chance that this person may pass away. You know, like that's not desensitization. I mean, that's not like a bad form of desensitization. I should say that's just mental preparedness of I know what's gonna happen. Like for example, if you see somebody going outside in the rain with dry clothes and no umbrella, you can go, okay, that person's gonna get wet in the rain. You know, that's just an obvious observation.
Like it just like there's no traumatic incident with that. So I'm like, my brain just disassociates and it's like, okay, oh, they died naturally. So
And from where I come from, like I get to know a lot of these people. If I don't get to know them, I get to know their family members like very intimately. It's not immediate, like, oh, they're coming in and they're gonna go. No, it's like weeks, months. I've had somebody like their 5-year-old son, and he was in the room, and I'm like, I gotta take your mom away now. And it's like after that, I'm like, oh my God, I'll go call my mom or I'll go call my dad. It's like it's really heavy, but I feel like you said, like a sense of maximization of like. I don't know when my number is going to be called, because even if I'm working in the emergency room, we worked on somebody for 2 hours and they're like, we really can't do anything anymore. And I'm like, just like that, gone. I remember this one patient, it was very much like nobody was there. They just found him on the street. He didn't even have a wallet. He was clinically dead brain-wise, so we couldn't really do anything anymore. Me, the nurse, and the doctor just stayed in that room until his heart rate left, because we didn't want to see him leave by himself. That was one of the most, sobering moments too. It's like,
God
as
damn.
much as it was nice for us to do.
So they like until they get like fingerprints and stuff like that, that ass can't even identify. Sheesh. Bup. There's nothing in there.
That I just don't want strangers around me, seeing me off.
I think for me as a teenager, selling drugs, just hanging in the streets, just living a lifestyle that I didn't care if I killed someone. I was very desensitized. I didn't care. I didn't feel no remorse for it. And this was part of my own personal development. I needed to find a way to attach to that. So I started doing this hospice training inside of one of the prisons. And by listening to these individuals tell their story and the regrets that they were living with in their process of transitioning, it gave me a sense of a value of life now, you know, and it shifted my mindset as this teenager who was very callous towards life at that time.
I've taken care of people, they're being on life support. They'll hang on for like a very long time till one specific person sometimes just visits them. And then I'm like, I can't explain that. I could take them off and their heart rate will keep going and going and going.
One of the guys I was working with in the prison, he wanted to see his sister. So this dude held on until like his sister walked into the room and he was like not consciously, but like she spoke to him and she started like talking to him and you started seeing him move. And then soon as she was like, I'm leaving. And like within minutes, this guy like transitioned.
Yeah, with my situation, I made him brain dead. And so he was in the hospital. And then when they pulled the plug on him, my mom literally had to tell him it's okay to go now. And then he left.
Wow.
Some weird things about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we're more than just
Why
our
you
brain,
feel
right?
it with 2
Your
Ks?
spirit's living in flesh, man. Yeah. That's all.
I am also a victim.
I think except for the dude with the gun, the dude who killed his friend by accident, that they're all gonna go to agree.
3,
Either that or they're all gonna be various levels of agree.
2, 1, go.
What the fuck? Nah. This lineup is crazy. He's the only one who I think you could argue him and maybe him. Him actually no. I forgot about him. Yeah, no. I don't think he's a victim. But him, he's definitely not a victim. He's not a victim. He's not a victim. He definitely is a victim. But he may not see it that way because he may want to take accountability for his own actions is what I think is going to happen. Her, definitely not 0% a victim. Him, I knew would step on disagree because he killed a nigga by accident. Him, I wouldn't say he's so much a victim because like he's a doctor, like he's not going out there and putting a rope around people's necks and like beastly killing people or something like that. And this nigga was just in the military. That don't even count for real.
I feel weird.
We're not trying to single you out.
But I feel like I have to be over here because the guy came after me. I was in a parking garage. I was just trying to go to the Jason Aldean concert that night. He started attacking me, stabbing me, and I fought back and I won. So I didn't ask for any of that. I honestly hated the guy and I wished he would be dead, but I never wanted to unalive or take someone's life.
My first couple years in prison, I saw myself as the victim, right? And that was, again, a way of me coping as I continue to do some interpersonal.
I wouldn't say he's so much a victim in terms of killing a dude. I would say more so a victim of like his environment and circumstance.
Work, I realized that I was not a victim, that I still made a choice in the crime that I committed, right? But
Facts.
I just wanted to share that. Like I wanted to run over there, but I'm in this place of healing and reconciliation, and I had to like move away.
So I figured basically, like I said, he's taking accountability, but arguably he's a victim.
From the victimization mindset and take ownership for the decision that I actually pulled the trigger, committed the crime, unfortunately, and someone died, and I have to take that on because that's part of my own personal growth and development. I remember on a Friday night, 3 years into my incarceration, I remember laying in my bed watching this show called Dateline, and for the first time, I heard a mother really expressing her loss for the loss of her loved one, and that was that moment in my life where I connected with that. I'm like, yo, I did the same thing. And I went into a fetus position and I started praying. And all I kept hearing hearing this voice saying, I have forgiven you. You have to ask Gary, the guy that you killed, to forgive you. And in that process, this is where I began. I remember saying, Gary, would you forgive me? And I literally felt like in that moment, he forgave me and I heard it. And it's almost like a weight was lifted off of me. And that's when I began this cleansing, this process of healing and moving forward and finding a purpose and finding my voice and all of that particular night inside of that prison when I surrendered to it.
No, I don't feel like I'm a victim for anything. Like, I chose that path.
Yeah, nigga. I was about to say he was in the military. Like I
Started
said,
off
that
wanting
don't
to be a
count for
Navy
real.
SEAL when I was like in elementary school. My mom helped me make my first ghillie suit when I was in the 6th grade. Like, it's something I've always wanted to do, and I knew it came with that, which
You wanted to boom niggas at 6? What? Yo, at 6 years old, he was walking around with the strap like, Mama, I want to boom niggas. Like, what, bro? Just for YouTube. It's a prop. It's a prop. It's a toy YouTube. It's a water blaster. But still, at 6 years old, you saying I want to go to the military and got somebody? Nah, that's like crazy.
was more than likely having to kill someone, especially in the time of war.
Yeah, I'm not a victim. But the only thing I would say is like they don't really prepare us into doing the job that we do. They do the day-to-day thing. Oh, this is what you do, this is what you chart and all that stuff. And then now you're like, oh, by the way, the doctor wrote the order. Go take him off. And now I gotta walk in, or like if it's a baby, they're still holding them in their hands and stuff. And like go take them off. And so I never really thought about it. Like nobody's like talked to me or anything. Like, by the way, this is where you're gonna feel afterwards, or like when you get home after you clock out and everything like that.
Yeah, we didn't have a handbook on that either. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, they teach you how to kill, but there's no
How to process.
how to process it.
Because they don't need you to
have
process it. What? Bro's ops was Power Rangers? Nigga, what?
Profited from the murder. 3,
All right. This one I can't even predict.
2, 1, go.
Oh, yeah. Military nigga. Yeah, that's right. He was literally getting paid for it. He's getting paid for it. They weren't. Her, I don't know, but it looked like she's staying in the middle.
Make me feel bad about this.
Someone called murder.
That word's kind of
Strong, yeah. Yeah.
Blood money.
That's what I'm thinking. I was like,
Why don't you like that word? I don't like it
All
either.
right, I don't think it applies universally,
yeah.
right?
Absolutely,
Homicide is a universal term. As far as profiting from any part of my story, no. I've spent the last 5 years struggling to write and publish a book, and I've spent about 80 G's on it, and made about 4,000. And that's not why I did it. I did it because I want to help people, but I don't think that it's very common for people to profit
donate
off
all the
of
money.
recovery from stuff, right? Well, maybe it is. I don't know.
I was about to say, it's hard to profit off of it. Have you ever heard of the baby? It's hard to profit off of it. Have you ever heard of King Von? It's hard to profit off of it. Have you ever heard of any drill rapper in life?
I guess I'll go over here then. My attacker, my show got made into a podcast called Dirty John, and then it got made into a documentary, a TV show on Bravo, and now on Netflix. And so I felt like I've been exploited in the sense because
I was about to say, what the
I did
fuck?
not make anything off of the podcast.
Okay.
Although people think
That
I
makes
profited
sense.
off my story, I did not.
But also, and you get paid to take his life.
No, not at all.
Okay, so if you profited off of anything,
Back
if
up.
I profit off of anything, it's my hard work afterwards.
Yeah.
It's my hard work to share and be of service. So, no, you didn't. People hate profit sometimes. They just
Yeah.
hate you just because you made money.
Yeah.
For me, as a speaker and a trainer, I struggled with that for a long time, right? You know, I committed this crime, and yes, I did all of the work that I've done.
My name is Dirty John. The dude who attacked her, like the King Vonner that attacked her, his name was Dirty John. What are you doing over there? Stop.
The man that I am today. But then I don't sleep at night right knowing that I've made this bag of money or whatever. Any money I get, I want to be able to live comfortable. It's not about getting something in luxury. How could I help some young
That's what a hitman for? No, he was just doing a serial, you know, it was because it was with a gun, but you know what I mean. He was just doing it, I don't know, for fun, I guess. It really doesn't fucking matter at this point. Point is, she killed the nigga in self-defense.
person? So we do the
And then nigga's name was
nonprofit
Dirty
work.
John.
But my 5-year goal now, or 10-year goal, is to use whatever profit I make is to create a foundation in honor of Gary. Going back to that promise I made to him almost 30 years ago inside of a prison cell.
It initially
Dirty.
started
Damn.
as me writing a journal. My dad suggested I did that. I was going through a hard time, self-medicating and contemplating some bad decisions.
Hold up, I
Hard
just can't not notice it. I don't know if that's a dog hair or a gray hair, but damn.
time self-medicating and contemplating some bad decisions. Started off as that, and it got picked up by a major book publishing company, and it went on to become essentially like an autobiography of that time in. After accomplishing that, I went on to what I do currently, which is write, novels and stuff like that. Not based on my life, because I did feel a certain way about it, of profiting from killing, I get what you're saying too. All the work that you put in there after, that's on you, but I also see it as, well, I killed all these guys and I wrote a book about it and profited from it.
Were you an E4, E5?
E5, yeah.
That's all the money you made off.
Right?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, he's like, I mean, it's cool that you sitting here promoting your book or whatever. I'm no problems with that. Nigga, you were in the military. You were paid to be on the front lines. Like, that right there is a yes, even if you didn't write the fucking book.
Once again, complex issue that gets lumped together. If somebody has money, they must be doing something for
bad,
profit.
yeah.
And I think where an answer is, I mean, do we follow purpose or do we follow the money? It's going to go away when I die. It's not going to
Yeah.
matter. What's going to matter when I die is what I did. Am I proud of myself for the things that I did?
I often see money more of like as an amplifier for what people can do, what reach they can do.
Yeah, what you can make an impact on now, like knowing like when I go speak to young people today about gun violence and about my story, the only way they can get out of a situation is if I have money.
Yeah.
Right? That I can create a safe space for them to go after school. So I have to make some money to be able to do that, you know what I mean? But I don't want to make a bunch of money and I'm living here and then I walk into the community.
Yo, Jayla, you're fucked up for that. You're fucked up for that.
And say, hey, young kids, put the guns down, prison, say no to prison. And then I drive away in this nice car and forget about them, right? So that's where I'm at. Like, purpose for me is about how do I make impact in the lives of the people that I serve.
Taking a life was part of God's plan for me.
Only reason I can see them separate towards disagree is if they don't believe in God.
3, 2, 1, go.
I'm unclear with that one. That's why I'm like this.
You're on the other side.
Yeah, I wouldn't be who I am today to be able to have the experience that I've had and become who I've become without taking a life. I learned my lesson after all the killing. My last deployment.
Wait, who?
Dropped over 30 guys, 33 people, and who knows how many before that. But what I had to get through and overcome to stand here today far exceeded anything I've done in the military. Being emotionally somewhat strong and what I've had to overcome. There's been a lot of dark nights where didn't think I was gonna be here,
Why I'm like this?
Yeah, I know what you mean though, yeah.
I don't want it to be perceived to be insensitive about the victim.
Yeah.
Right? But I know on this part of me, I look at my friends who I grew up with at 19 years old, and I did 22 years in prison, and when I came back home, they were at the same spot under the same tree we sold drugs at. But then if over here, I think about the Gold Dinger's family, because, their son is like...
Oh, the bald black dude. Let me explain it like this. McDonald's money ain't it, all right? McDonald's money ain't it. Some that and just even beyond that, like some people just mentally don't have the capability to work a regular job. Some people, like, that's not for some people. Some people start businesses, some people work in already established businesses. You get what I'm saying? So like, I get what you're saying. Excuse me. I get what you're saying. Just go get a regular job. But at the end of the day, some people don't think like that. And you also got to understand, bro. It's not easy for Black people to get a job. Like, some businesses and some places of hire will automatically reject you because you're Black. And then we got to also realize, like, yeah, there's been a lot of laws and reform and all that yada yada shit about you're legally not allowed to discriminate against people. But using him as an example, Selling drugs was against the law in his time. Was he selling drugs? Yes. So just because something is against the law, that doesn't mean it doesn't happen. That's number one. Number two, again, like I said, there's other reasons why they discriminate against you, for getting jobs and stuff like that. And not every job, like McDonald's and stuff like that, is like real payment. Cause like, bro, if you, for example, are trying to pay bills off of a McDonald's job in New York, you're not surviving. I'm serious. You're not surviving, bro.
Like,
You're going to be
oh,
homeless.
God destined my son, my brother or my son to die. You know what I mean? So
But if you believe in God, then that would be, he already knew that before you
I
were
get
born,
that part.
you
I mean,
know?
I'm a spiritual man, right?
yeah,
But I'm
same.
just like, I don't want it to, I don't, it's just, that's my dilemma when it
If
comes
there's
to
feel
a
you.
God, I don't think that he's letting some kid be blown apart in Iraq because he's busy helping me look for a parking space.
Yeah.
Right? I don't think that the realm of
Now, what the fuck? That example is crazy.
he's busy
What?
helping me look for a parking.
Nah, that
my
example
dilemma
was
when it
crazy.
comes
There's
to
a God. I don't think that he's letting some kid be blown apart in Iraq because he's busy helping me look for a parking space.
Yeah.
Right? I don't think that the realm of the spirit is
Yes.
as concerned with human affairs. I think that the sun rises and sets for a reason. It rockets through space at 40,000 miles an hour with a bunch of rocks around it for a reason, and animals have instinct for a reason, and I think human beings,
Free
it's a
will.
little
Free
different.
will.
Free
and I
will.
think
Yeah.
things just happen sometimes. There doesn't have to be meaning or a plan.
But then it's hard
That's
for
fair.
a person who lost a loved one to wrap that. For me, my homicide is completely different than most of you in this room. Is someone died by me pulling this trigger, and I can't say it was in God's plan.
I pulled the trigger too, and I
Yeah.
thought the gun was empty. And I still can't wrap my head around a stupid decision like that. Even though that it malfunctioned and acted unloaded, had I done all the right things,
Nah, that's kind of a crazy one because like I can't get fully mad at him because like at the end of the day, sometimes when like you're good at something or you do something so many times, like you start to skip steps. Because like one thing I always say is like when you're good at something or you're real familiar with a certain system, the rules don't apply to you the same. So for example, let's say you're a politician. If you're a politician and somebody tries to charge you with a crime, you don't go to regular jail. They have a separate space in the jail, or even sometimes a separate jail that you go to. And realistically, if you even get charged, 9 times out of 10, you'll get house arrest.
the four safety rules, it never would have happened. And I was nervous coming here because I don't know what I was thinking. I wasn't thinking.
Do stuff you love. Yeah, that's one of those things that sounds cool, but that's not always realistic, bro. Because, like, for example, if I try to make a living off of doing stuff I love, I'd be on the side of the street in a cardboard box right now. When I create all this content, like, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying I've never made money off of creating content, but most of the time I do not make money off of creating this fucking content. Most of the time I just be doing this shit because I like entertaining people. So do what you love. That's one of those pieces of advice that sound great, but like it's not always a reality. For some people, it becomes a reality, but not everybody. I mean, eventually I'm going to be some people, but eventually isn't right now.
And I had no intent at all. There's no way I would have as soon put it to my head or at the floor or whatever. And I can't remember ever doing that before or after. And it was a mistake.
I think for me, it was part of my dharma. I'm a little bit more spiritual, so I think it was my life's purpose, to be honest. Because of what I do today, whenever I speak,
Nah, my life's purpose was to boom this nigga is kind of crazy.
I always have people contact me and say that they left an abusive relationship or what I shared helped them get out of their attack.
Sharing your story helps other people, and
Yeah.
you feel that,
I call it transparency transports people.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like really honest about who I am.
Yo, stop thinking about the thumbnail. Stop thinking about the thumbnail. The thumbnail out for you. The thumbnail for the people scrolling on YouTube. Chill.
Because there's someone else, not just
Chill.
in a physical
I'm about to
prison,
play
but
Mortal
an emotional,
Kombat in
mental
like 10
prison.
minutes.
And by hearing your story, hearing all of our stories, it helps transport them to another space of showing that I
I
can
gotta stop
escape this
pausing
particular
too
prison.
because this is a
After having
30-minute
this
video I turned
discussion,
into an hour.
Lester choose a side.
Damn. They said pick a side, bitch.
Really?
Can't make you.
This
I'm
is an
just
old
gonna say I don't think it's fair to make you choose a side. You believe what you believe.
I'm gonna stand just a little bit over there. Please. Like, respectful.
I really like what you did, man, because we move in seconds and inches.
Yeah.
We measure progress in like
Yeah, I'm
miles
right
and
here.
years, you know?
That was kind of a lot.
What's up?
This episode was just sort of intense, and
Oh, okay, cool. The episode ended. It's a yeah. Oh, so it was only a 20-minute episode. Half of this shit is just like extra shit. Oh, I want to do could have been records. Ooh. Let me see if I can find a short video. Ooh. Let me react to Do You Eat Booty real quick.